Germany, after World War I, was a nation in turmoil. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, had imposed harsh penalties on the country. Germany was forced to accept blame for the war. They were burdened with massive reparations payments to the victors. The German economy was in ruins. Millions were unemployed. Inflation spiraled out of control. The political landscape was equally unstable. The Weimar Republic, Germany's new democratic government, was fragile. It faced challenges from both the left and the right. Extremist groups peddling simplistic solutions to complex problems found fertile ground in the chaos. The social fabric of Germany was also deeply strained. The war had left deep scars. Defeat brought humiliation and resentment. Many Germans felt betrayed by their leaders. They yearned for a return to strength and stability. This toxic mix of economic hardship, political instability, and social unrest created a breeding ground for extremism. It was in this environment that a little-known Austrian agitator named Adolf Hitler would rise to prominence. Adolf Hitler was born in Austria in 1889. His early life was marked by failure and disappointment. He was a poor student. He was rejected twice by the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. He drifted directionless through the streets of Vienna, harboring a growing resentment towards the world. Hitler developed a deep-seated hatred for Jews, whom he blamed for Germany's problems. He embraced German nationalism. He saw Germany as a superior race, destined to rule. He believed that the Treaty of Versailles was a grave injustice. World War I offered Hitler a sense of purpose. He served in the German army. He was awarded the Iron Cross for bravery. The defeat of Germany, however, left him bitter and disillusioned. He returned to Munich, determined to enter politics. In 1919, Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, a small, insignificant group. He quickly rose through the ranks, using his charisma and powerful oratory skills to captivate audiences. Hitler had found his calling and a platform to spread his dangerous ideology. The German Workers' Party, under Hitler's influence, transformed into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party. The party's ideology was a toxic brew of extreme nationalism, anti-Semitism, and anti-communism. The Nazis promised to restore Germany to its former glory. They pledged to overturn the Treaty of Versailles. They scapegoated Jews, blaming them for Germany's economic woes and social ills. The Nazis appealed to Germans' sense of national pride and their longing for stability. The Nazi Party quickly gained popularity. They attracted disaffected veterans, unemployed workers, and members of the middle class who had lost their savings in the hyperinflation. The party's use of propaganda, rallies, and paramilitary organizations like the SA or Brown Shirts created an aura of strength and unity. The Nazis were a party of violence. They used intimidation and terror to silence their opponents. Street battles between the SA and communists became increasingly common. Germany was on the brink of chaos. In November 1923, Hitler and the Nazi Party attempted to seize power in Munich. The Beer Hall Putsch, as it became known, was a poorly planned and ultimately unsuccessful coup attempt. Hitler was arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, the trial gave Hitler a national platform to spread his message. He used the courtroom as a stage, delivering impassioned speeches that captivated the German people. His book, Mein Kampf, written while in prison, outlined his twisted worldview and his plans for Germany. Although a failure, the Beer Hall Putsch had a significant impact. It made Hitler a national figure. It brought the Nazi Party to the attention of the German public. And it demonstrated the threat that the Nazis posed to the fragile Weimar Republic. The failure of the putsch also taught Hitler a valuable lesson. He realized that he could not seize power through force alone. He needed to gain power through legal means by winning over the German people and infiltrating the political system. Section 5. The Vulnerability of Democracy, Hitler's Path to Chancellorship. The years following the Beer Hall Putsch were a time of rebuilding for the Nazi Party. Hitler reorganized the party. He toned down the party's rhetoric. He focused on winning seats in the Reichstag, the German parliament. The Great Depression, which began in 1929, played directly into Hitler's hands. The German economy collapsed. Millions were unemployed. People were desperate for a solution, for a savior. Hitler, with his promises of national renewal and economic recovery, offered a seductive alternative to the failing Weimar Republic. The Nazi Party's popularity surged. In the July 1932 elections, the Nazis became the largest party in the Reichstag. Hitler, however, was not satisfied. He demanded to be appointed Chancellor, the head of the German government. After months of political maneuvering and backroom deals, President Paul von Hindenburg, a World War I hero, reluctantly appointed Hitler Chancellor on January 30th, 1933. Hitler had finally achieved his goal. He had reached the pinnacle of power through legal means, but his rise marked the beginning of the end for German democracy. Section 6. Consolidation of power. The Third Reich begins. Once in power, Hitler moved swiftly to consolidate his control over Germany. He used the Reichstag fire, a suspicious incident that destroyed the parliament building, to suspend civil liberties and crush his political opponents. The Enabling Act passed by the Reichstag in March 1933 gave Hitler dictatorial powers. With this act, Hitler was able to bypass the constitution and rule by decree. The Weimar Republic was effectively dead. The Third Reich, Hitler's vision of a thousand-year Nazi empire, had begun. Hitler systematically dismantled German democracy. He banned all other political parties, turning Germany into a one-party state. He established the Gestapo, a secret police force that terrorized the population. He built concentration camps where political opponents, Jews and other undesirables were imprisoned without trial. Within a year of becoming Chancellor, Hitler had transformed Germany from a fragile democracy into a totalitarian dictatorship. The world watched with growing concern, but few could have imagined the horrors that Hitler's rule would unleash. Section 7. The ideology of Nazism, a regime built on hate. At the heart of Nazism lay a toxic ideology of hate and racial superiority. Hitler believed in the supremacy of the Aryan race, a mythical master race that he identified with the German people. He saw Jews as a parasitic race, a threat to the purity of the Aryan bloodline and the strength of the German nation. Hitler's anti-Semitism was not merely a prejudice, it was a core tenet of his worldview. He blamed Jews for Germany's defeat in World War I, the economic crisis, and the spread of communism. He believed that Jews were engaged in a global conspiracy to weaken and ultimately destroy Germany. The Nazis implemented their racist ideology with ruthless efficiency. Jews were stripped of their citizenship, their property, and their livelihoods. They were subjected to systematic persecution, humiliation, and violence. The Holocaust, the systematic murder of 6 million Jews, stands as a chilling testament to the horrors of Nazi ideology. But Nazism's hatred was not limited to Jews. The Nazis also targeted other groups deemed racially inferior or politically undesirable, including Roma, homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, and people with disabilities. These groups were also subjected to persecution, imprisonment, and murder. Section 8. The global impact, a dark shadow falls over Europe. Hitler's rise to power had a profound impact on Germany and the world. His rule led to the deaths of millions and the devastation of Germany in World War II. Hitler's actions plunged the world into a conflict that claimed tens of millions of lives. His foreign policy aimed to expand German territory and create an empire in Eastern Europe. He believed Germany needed Lebensraum, or living space, at the expense of other nations. He invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, triggering World War II. The Holocaust, the murder of 6 million Jews, is the most horrific manifestation of Nazi ideology. Hitler is remembered as a tyrant, a dictator, and a mass murderer. His rise to power serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of nationalism and propaganda.